Next week a new game is coming out. A game called Mass Effect Andromeda, and I'm pretty hyped for it. That's why for this week's episode, I thought I would get hyped for Mass Effect. Now you're probably asking yourself, hey, isn't Mass Effect a video game? And this guy usually rants and just fumbles around talking about anime. Well, it turns out there was a Mass Effect anime movie made, and that's what I'm going to talk about. There's this movie called Mass Effect Paragon Lost. It was an anime movie made back in 2012 or something, like right around the time Mass Effect 3 was coming out. And I remember being fairly hyped for the movie when I heard about it, but I also heard that it wasn't pretty good, and that made me more hyped. Yeah, the movie takes place during Mass Effect 2, except instead of following the main character, like Shepard and the crew of the Normandy doing their like Mass Effect stuff, they decide to make the story about this guy named James Vega, who is he might be my least favorite squad mate in Mass Effect 3. He's just this big dude that probably is from Space Jersey, and he just goes around in his big stupid tank top, challenging people to fights. And I don't remember too much about him from the game. Like he was just kind of there, just hanging out in the hangar. So anyway, he got his own movie, and the movie is about him defending some colony out in the Terminus systems. Which, if you don't know anything about Mass Effect, just know that the Terminus systems are just really hype places. It's a really hype like quadrant of space. Like the hypest things happen in Terminus systems. Yeah, he's defending a human colony out there when it's in the middle of attack by a bunch of like mercenaries or like raiders or something. So they're fighting these guys and like doing like action movie stuff, and it's like an anime, so it's a bit more stylish. And then after the fight, they're like, "Oh, everything's cool now. Like we're all safe, and it's a happy ending." And then like 5 minutes later, the collectors show up, which were like the main bad guys of Mass Effect 2. They're like these bug alien things. Like, I don't want to spoil Mass Effect 2 if you haven't played it. Like, it's my least favorite Mass Effect, but it's still a great game. Like, Mass Effect 1's the best, and I think Mass Effect 3 is better than Mass Effect 2. But then again, Sword Art Online is like my second favorite anime. So maybe just because I like terrible things. I have often been quoted as saying things such as, I hate the bands you like. Or wait, no, it's the other way around. I like the bands you hate. I should get a t-shirt that says that. So anyway, the collectors attack this human colony, and it's up to James Vega to save the day. And he does so by using his tank top and his Michael Bay movie skills, and just shoots things and blows things up. And there's not too much to say. It's an okay movie. I mean, it's always cool to see Mass Effect in other places besides the game. So yeah, no, and I'm looking at the I Bing searched it so I could find out what year it was actually made in. And so I could also find out what Vega's first name was, because I really didn't care about him in Mass Effect 3. He was just kind of there. The movie is just a pretty standard sci-fi action movie. And the only like really hype thing I can even remember from it was at the end he has to make a decision on whether or not to save the colonist from the colony who are being abducted, or to I think it was destroy the collector's ship or something, or no, it was to save this researcher who was at the colony, and she had gotten a bunch of data on the collectors, and by extension the Reapers. So you had to choose between saving like hundreds of thousands of people at the colony, or saving this one researcher who had some information on what the collectors were doing and what the Reapers were up to. And he, like at first, what they do is they just go with like the standard like action movie hero thing where it's like, oh, I'll sacrifice her and I'll save the colony for the greater good, and they do all of that and have this emotional scene where the doctor's like, okay, you do the good thing, you big hero with your tank top. And then like 10 minutes later they do a complete 180, and that was just all in his head. And in reality, he ended up saving the researcher and letting all the colonists burn and die. And I thought that was really cool because that kind of like ties into the whole Mass Effect theme of making choices that have consequences. Oh, and that guy just got shot. I'm looking at the recording that the gameplay recording. I just saw that I just opened the door and blew some guy's head off of a shotgun. So yeah, anyway, that ties with the whole Mass Effect thing about making choices. So it's well, it shows both outcomes in a way, like what would happen if you saved the colonist, and also what would happen if he saved the doctor or researcher. But the canon thing is, I guess he saved the researcher because I think he briefly mentions it in Mass Effect 3. Like when you go down to talk to him, you say, "Hey, so Vega, what's your deal?" And he's like, "Oh, my deal is I got a tank top and I'm from Space Jersey, and you know what? Here, take this anime DVD. It'll tell you exactly what my backstory is." It was directed by Atsushi Takachi. So anyway, that's pretty much just Mass Effect Paragon Lost. Yep. If you like Mass Effect and you want to learn more about the amazing character that is James Vega, then you can go watch this like C tier movie. The Krogans kind of looked weird in it. Like they looked really weird. It could be an animation thing. Seems like I have like 2 more minutes left. What else can I talk about for 2 minutes? So I've said this before that Mass Effect 2 is, in my opinion, the worst Mass Effect game. And to clarify, I should probably give my reason for saying such a thing. Like most people think it's the best, but like the only thing I feel like it does better than the other games is maybe some of the character development. Because in the first game, yeah, you could talk to people and find out what they're all about. But in Mass Effect 2, they kind of like ended up, like now that I think about it, it kind of is almost like some sort of like like a dating sim almost, or something, where you just kind of like talk to people and chat. Like that's how they kind of wrote the characters in Mass Effect 2, which is okay. But everything else I feel like is poor in comparison to the other games. Like the RPG mechanics are better in Mass Effect 1, and in my opinion, the combat and even story overall is better in Mass Effect 3. Like, I also didn't play Mass Effect 3 until like they released a big like update that redid the ending slightly and like touched up some of the story beats a bit. So maybe that's why I think Mass Effect 3 is better than most people say it is. Also, its multiplayer was super cool, and Andromeda's has the same multiplayer, so I'm looking forward to that. Yep, so get hyped for Mass Effect Andromeda, and also Mass Effect James Vega's Bizarre Adventure.